brings you College Football 86. And today, the California Golden Bears take on the Eagles of Boston College. It's homecoming here at Chestnut Hill. And welcome back. Welcome back to USA College Football 86. Good to see you.
Nice to be back for a third year. We certainly hope that you're going to enjoy another great slate of ball games this season.
I think it's going to be fun. We got Cal and Boston College. Cal was a team that won 4, lost 7 last year, but they lost 4 games by a total of 12 points. Pretty good defense.
And one of the games that they did win, though, was against USC. Big upset, 14-6, and they did win it with defense. Joe Kapp has instituted 2 main priorities. One is he's recruiting speed. Secondly, he's using a redshirt program, and of course, as always, uses the JC program to bring in more experienced players. They are not going to go to the Rose Bowl, I don't think, this year, Eddie Doucette, but they are going to certainly upset some more folks. And they were the most improved team in the Pac-10 last year. They're going to have another good season.
A sleeper, say some of the experts. We'll have to wait and find out. One thing we know, Kyle, offensively, they're very young. They've got a young, inexperienced line, but some very good, skilled people. But the best of the young Bears is a fellow named Mark Hicks. Watch him. He can run, pass, punt, do it all, even recruit. Yeah. Let's find out. The player to watch for the Golden Bears is super sophomore Mark Hicks. Once he gets in the open field, his speed and moves make him a constant threat. Calling the signals for Cal is running junior Brian Bedford. His ability to run the keeper earned him the job. But the heart of the Cal team is in their defense, and no one expresses that better than linebacker, the hardware man, Hardy Nickerson.
If there's any way I like our football players to play, is to play happy, with confidence and a lot of self-esteem. And we have our captain, Hardy Nickerson. If I've ever been around a football player that plays happy with a smile on his face, it's Hardy. He's just a joy to be around. I don't know that I'd like to go against him.
Not only do they have to be able to play very happy, they have to play very confidently. It's been a long time, 3 decades since they've been to the Rose Bowl. Since 1979, they've been to another bowl game. They're going to need a lot of confidence to be able to go back to postseason competition.
Is that the same Joe Kapp with all that energy harnessed? The one-time controversial Joe Kapp, often talked about? BC next on USA Sports when we return to Boston.
Yeah, Tabasco. Jeep Cherokee has just been reborn. It can now be ordered with a 4-liter, 6-cylinder, 173 horsepower engine. Nothing in Cherokee's class even comes close. In fact, with this engine and a choice of 2 or 4 doors and 2 shift-on-the-fly 4-wheel drive systems, you could say nothing's in Cherokee's class.
We're just outside of Boston, Chestnut Hill, Mass. It's a beautiful place, Alumni Stadium, home of Boston College for homecoming. And BC is a team coming in here, Kyle. They're 0-1. They were stunned last week by Rutgers. Lost that game 11-9, but the defense was solid.
Well, that's the one silver lining of last week. They've got in the middle of a $21 million renovation program here at BC. They're trying to maintain the momentum from the Flutie years. Unfortunately, it does not get any easier. They go from here to Penn State, then to SMU, and then Maryland. They had to win last week to have a good record this year, and they certainly have to win today.
Yeah, the big story here in the Chestnut Hill area was the quarterback change that the coaches felt they had to make. They're going with a sophomore, Mike Power, and Troy Stratford is injured. He won't play today. It was a rough day for Boston College football last Saturday when their most valuable running back, Troy Stratford, was shelved with a helmet to the ribs. Starting quarterback Sean Halloran heard the boo birds, and Coach Jack McNell made a change.
I want an aggressive quarterback. We're a quarterback-oriented offense, and we've got to be aggressive with the ball. I don't want to just dump it off and be conservative, because then really we're not utilizing our offensive people. So with Michael Power, a young man I'm going to go with this week, he is an aggressive kid. Now, he's going to make some mistakes, but I think he's an aggressive kid, and I think he's going to be exciting to watch.
There he is, Mike Power. He's more nervous than a cup of coffee. If they could bottle some of that energy, they may have something. And they say that he may be the next coming of Doug Flutie.
Well, I think realistically they do have to be concerned about the energy that he has wasted getting excited for this ball game. He didn't sleep very well last night, as we saw him yesterday, bouncing no ball around the stadium. But they need a absolutely outstanding athlete at quarterback for this Jack Bicknell offense. It's a multiple offense. You need to have someone who can scramble, get outside the pursuit, and this young man is the one that they believe can do it. Sean Heller, of course, much more the drop-back type passer.
Injuries are a major problem for BC. We won't see Troy Stratford unless they get to the fourth quarter and it's close, possibly. A Tom Waddle, a Marcus Cherry, and on down the line. Kelvin Martin, their ace receiver, is hurting, but he will play. Hopefully it'll be a good and exciting ball game. It's BC and Cal coming up next on USA Sports when we return to Chestnut Hill, home of the Boston College Eagles.
Right now, you can get a
Captain Sports. Captain Dickerson, Captain Hines, Captain Montgomery, Captain Stratford, Tripola, Bolsa, and Martin, Boston College. California's visiting team. Who's going to call a toss? All right, heads or tails?
Today's game is brought to you by Jeep. There's a feeling you get only in a Jeep. And by Certainty, manufacturer of America's
First half. All right, Captain, which goal would you like to defend? You put your backs that way. Put your backs there.
Get busy, y'all. Get busy.
California has won the toss and will receive in this direction.
Jerry Montgomery, Gary Hine, Hardy Nickerson, and Doug Riesenberg representing
the era. I think that the Jesuits got the idea that maybe this was a little like high mass because they've devoted a lot of time and effort and building a major football program. Here are the officials for you. The weather conditions, perfect, absolutely magnificent. 78 degrees, a wind from the west at 12, humidity 69%, and whoever stretched that beautiful sheet of blue across the sky is a friend of mine because this is ideal football weather. The Cal Bears, they've come a long way. They don't want to be disappointed. They feel they've got a chance. They've added depth, a couple of terrific recruiting years. Cal has won the toss and will receive. And that means that Boston College will be kicking off, and the crowd is ready. A bitter disappointment last week, but you've got to give credit to Rutgers and some new rules that we'll be looking at this year.
One of those we'll see immediately, and that is the kickoff being moved back to the 35-yard lines to obviously encourage returns. Also, on the kicking team, the people covering the kick cannot back up from the ball more than 10 yards. That hoping that they're going to avoid a lot of the high-impact collisions that occur, particularly on onside kicks from players who will back up 15, 20 yards.
Overall record in the season opener, California, not bad. And under Joe Kapp, who one fellow said he was born to be the coach of the Cal Bears. Of course, he had a great career when he was with California. And there's your kicker, Brian Rowe, a walk-on fellow that was a soccer goalie before this year. And he beat two other candidates out to do the kicking chores here at Boston College. Both these teams with so-so kicking games, not the best. And it'll be interesting to see how he does today. He was 1 for 3 in field goal attempts last week. But they say he's got a strong leg, and they like him. Back in twin safety for the Bears. On the far side, Darren Greer. Near side, Mike Ford, both burners. And we're about set to go. And college football 86 on USA is officially underway. That's Greer. 15 to the 22-yard line goes Darren Greer. And that's where it's going to be put in play as BC gets it underway. And Rory Perriman was the fellow that brought him down. Brian Bedford will be the quarterback to lead this Cal Bear team out. And there it is. Not a great passer. He's a junior. But boy, does he have those cute feet. Hicks, watch him. Powers, a big bruising fullback. Delgado, Ingram, and Devers are the receivers. That's what you have moving the ball for Cal. Up front, Riesenberg. He's a giant at 6'8", with Cam King, Chuck Steele, Blaze Smith, and Dave Zawatson. A big, strong right tackle. That is the line that'll try to open some holes for that ace running back, Mark Hicks. Hicks and Powers in the eye. They'll go with Brian Bedford. We're underway. The ball is on the 22-yard line. 1st and 10. And on the give, it's Powers, the fullback. And he gets a first down as he goes over the 32 to the 33. Tackle on the play here by Carl Crushpain. Defensively, Boston College will try Eric Lindstrom. Big John Bose, All-American type up there with Correll, Dignan, and Bill Thompson the outside, and a 50 defense. Bill Romanowski and Gaffney the linebackers, with Garrick McPherson, Creshbane, Duran, and Vince Munn the secondary. First down and 10 on the 33. Here's Hicks. And Hicks tries the right side. And there was a fumble, and they say preliminarily that BC has recovered. Big pop by Bill Romanowski, and the recovery by Ed Duran. How about that for a start?
Ed Duran, number 5, the former quarterback who has a chance for some glories. He picks up, there you see it from Ed Duran, number 5. That's his look. There's Hicks breaking back, and the tackle on the inside. Romanowski pops the ball out. There's Duran right ready to pick it up, and Boston College has the ball inside the California 40.
14-26. We're just underway, and a big turnover. Cal's first game, the jitters. Boston College has got one under the belt. Powers a little jittery, the quarterback. Ball on the 37. Let's watch the young man. Give to Jimmy Bell. Still spinning. Hardy Nickerson. There's the hardware man. He jumps up off the stack. He gets his first pop of 86. And for BC, a couple of yards. And there's the story about Mike Power, who this week took over for senior Sean Halloran. Jim Bell will be the tailback for Stratford. Watch him. Turner the fullback, Kelvin Martin, Peter Casparello, and Darren Flutie the receivers. Oliver, Wolf, Twombly, Trapillo the All-American type, and Wydell on the front line. Dombrowski and Flutie on the near side. Intended for Dombrowski and out of bounds. Incomplete. It'll bring down a 3rd and 8.
Excuse me, Eddie, this is the place where Sean Halloran really did not do it last week. 3 out of 15 in 3rd down situations, and we look at the defensive line of California.
You want to try it? Not two. Tua Tagovailoa, part of the name. Majette, he's the man in the middle with Harvey, McDonald, Nickerson, and Hendrickson. Johnson, Stallworth, Derek Taylor, and Gary Hine, the All-American rugby player who doubles here on the Cal football team. 35-yard line. Dombrowski and Taylor. That's Steve Taylor, wide receivers, and Taylor in motion. Power. He wants to run and does. He's exciting, and he slides to the 20-yard line. He's an excitable young guy, and we visited with him earlier, and he loves the roar of the crowd and the chance to lead BC.
I think if I had a bad game, it would be my own fault because I didn't play within myself. I tried to do too much. And I just got to go out there and realize that I'm there to lead the team, not be the team. And we have many quality players on our team. And I'm just the new kid that's supposed to take charge in the huddle. And I just have to learn my role very quickly.
Eddie Doucette and Kyle Rote, and they give to the fullback. And barreling through, there's John Bronner. And Bronner inside the 20 and down to the 18. Ron Sebahar, the defensive left tackle, a hitter.
Already people are anticipating that this is perhaps the reincarnation of a Doug Flutie type quarterback as people got to their feet with that move by Mike Power to pick up the first down for Boston College.
The turnover, and a big one, in BC trying to take advantage. Something they did not do against Rutgers when they were stalled inside the 25-yard line last week several times. Once the 10 on a 4th and 1 and couldn't get it done. And they lost by a pair. 2nd and 7. Jim Bell. Jim Bell for Stratford. And he was hit by a couple of linebackers. One of them was Dan Slevin. Hardy Nickerson was in there. There he is, number 47. And Steve Hendrickson, a surprise starter here, replacing John Geringer, who's out with a bad ankle.
Cal defense making its style known very early. A lot of aggressiveness, high pressure, lots of power in there. They're going to make some mistakes and give up some big gainers, but otherwise they're going to punish you when you run with the ball.
There he is, a young man from nearby Westboro, Mass. He's 6'2", 175 pounds, a string bean, but a scrambler. Dombrowski out, Martin in, Flutie, one of the wide receivers. 3rd and 8. Taylor in motion. Power to throw. Inside the 10, just at the 10-yard line. Sidney Johnson, the left corner, and Kelvin Martin, their #1 receiver here, the receiver on that play.
Well, the first completion for Power. More importantly, look at the confidence and also the line, the protection that this offensive line, the very mature offensive line, gives Mike Power, their young sophomore quarterback, playing in his first start. He finds Kelvin Martin, the outstanding receiver, who came into the game with a calf injury, and he picks up the first down.
So BC with a steady drive after taking advantage of the first quarter turnover early on the fumble by Mark Hicks. And we're underway, and it's now with 11:40 to play here in the first quarter. And BC just inside the 10-yard line. Actually very close to nose up, and it's a 1st and goal. Power, high formation. Martin, one of the running backs. Bronner to the 4, maybe to the 3. And inside, some big blocks by Twombly and Wolf, the right side of the line, Trapillo. And that had been a question, the center play. Little inexperience, and there's Jack Bicknell. There are the hand signals that he'll pass on for every play. They'll get a new call on every down.
I think there's a sense of pregnant anticipation with Bicknell's signal about an ensuing touchdown for Boston College. Jim Bell with that last outside move that took the defense wide for the dive for Bronner. 2nd and goal. Turner is in there with Bell, the I formation. Casparello, the tight end, in motion. Jim Bell, touchdown! A Cinderella situation for Bell, replacing Stratford. Once again, a little bit of reach blocking on the inside by the line. Jim Turner with the good block out of the fullback slot, number 40, allowing the sprinter Jim Bell, the tailback, to get outside and find pay dirt.
So a thrill for Bell, who is a fine north-south, maybe not east-west type runner, but he loves to run into people. Carmody to hold, Ryan Lowe to kick. Boston College with a 6-0 lead, trying to add. And they do. 7-0 BC. And we'll be back after this from our local cable affiliates on USA. We're back at Alumni Stadium in Boston, Mass. And there it is. 8 plays, 37 yards. It took 3:43. And Powers has got the cobwebs off. He's ready to go to run this BC club. He's got him on the board, 7-0. And now Brian Lowe will get set to kick it off again. Some start for BC, who last week lethargic offensively under the new leadership of young Mike Power have gotten themselves off to a fast start.
I think I should say, though, in Sean Halloran's case, he would be perhaps a very good quarterback on another style offense that likes the drop back passing offense. He'll have a good pro career, but the BC offense is just not his style.
Greer and Ford are back deep. Coming up short, Greer at the 8-yard line. Greer over the 20 and piled under at about the 23-yard line. And a bunch of maroon and gold Eagle jerseys are there. There he is. That is Darren Greer. He's a reserve running back with great speed, a freshman from Bakersfield, California. And coming in now, Brian Bedford, the 6'4", 210-pounder from Sacramento. Tackled by Bill Smithers, one of the specialty team members of the Boston College Eagles. All set to go. Powers and Greer are the running backs. Let's check that. Bedford. That's Hicks. Didn't think they'd start Greer. That was Hicks. With Carl Crushpain making the stop.
Noticed already the rule change invoked by the NCAA this year, encouraging more kickoff returns. 2 good kickoffs by Boston College, both of them only going to the goal line and thus forcing a return. So they are getting what they wanted out of that rule change.
Every time this fellow Hicks touched the football, he averaged all total purpose offense over 7 yards. On carries, 5.1 yard carries, as you saw. But he's handling Cal. In remembrance of John Tuggle from the Cal class of '83, the 4-year letterman died of cancer on August 30th, who made the New York Football Giants. Special thoughts to his family from the Cal University Bears. 2nd and 1 on the 34. Hicks. Pulled down by Bill Thompson and Bill Romanowski.
California, they're an offense that likes to mix it up, unlike Boston College that sets up its running game with the pass. The Golden Bears under Joe Kapp do like to get the running game established, and obviously when you got Mark Hicks and people like Todd Powers, they're going to try to do it that way.
Cal with 2 first downs. 1st and 10, ball on the 38-yard line. 9:50 to play in the quarter. That's Bedford. Near side, throwing to Delgado, and knocked at the 49 and back to the 48. That's where they're going to spot it. Vince Munn, or Vinny, if you will, to his friends. He's the fellow that hit him there, but that's an all-purpose guy also. Runner, catcher, talented punt returner, Vince Delgado. Look at those receptions, Kyle, and watch for him on the reverse this afternoon.
Last year took 6 of those, averaging 24 yards per reverse, scored on 2 of those 6, and of course there is the former quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings and also the Boston Patriots for a while. As he said, he spent 7 years here one season with Boston in 1970.
7-0, BC. Give it to Hicks, nowhere. This is one of the most highly sought-after young talents coming out of high school, recruited by no less than Penn State, Nebraska, Ohio State, Washington, and Cal got him. And there's the man that made the stop, replacing Mike Ruth. Big shoes to fill, Tom Perrell.
Nice when you've got someone like John Bosa along your side and Mike Degnan, people that do have a lot of good defensive experience, though.
Cushing and Delgado are the wide receivers, split backs. Cushing inside BC territory and down to the 43-yard line. BC there, Gaffney, one of the tacklers, Bill Thompson, Vince Munn, all around the ball for BC.
Cushing crushed that time. He's really kind of the backup to James Devers, but they're going to use a lot of different folks in this offense, and do not be surprised if we see Brian Bedford there, the quarterback, number 10, with a lot of quarterback draws and quarterback keepers. He is an outstanding runner.
Cushing is stretched to the far side. Power I. Hicks is the up back in the eye. Bedford to Hicks. Finds an opening, breaks it loose, and look at him pull. Boy, oh boy, the backup free safety Carl Pelagata got a ride for a good 5 yards before Vince Munn threw a ribbon around it.
Well, this is a guy, it's very difficult for people to realize how good he really is. Paterno says he's the top running back out of high school in the last 5 years. Don James up at Washington says he's the best player to come into the Pac-10 in the last 11 years. And those are some experienced coaches that do not say things like that unless they really mean it.
William Jackson, a reserve running back, was in there in that power I. Delgado and Cushing are the wideouts. And they shift into the split back throw set. Bedford. Hicks. And chased OB by Bill Thompson and Carl Pelagata of Boston's College.
Hicks an opportunity to play some pro baseball as well, much like on the opposite side, the multi-talented quarterback we've talked about, Mike Power from Boston College. Hicks can do it all.
He's coming out right now. He's replaced by Darren Greer. Hicks has got 4.4 40 speed. If you don't understand that, that means he's a flyer. He has 5 carries, 25 yards so far. Devers and Delgado are the wideouts. 2nd and 8, 34-yard line. Bedford. Greer. Tries to cut back, nowhere.
Boston College has got the ball. They picked it up. It was stolen out of the hands. It was Eric Lindstrom who picked up the ball.
And Boston College will take over on the 37 again, this time on their own 37-yard line. Lindstrom on another Cal turnover. Not sharp execution. We'll be back. We're at Boston College, and we're coming to you on their own 37. Power, the quarterback. Turner, the only running back, with 3 wideouts. Tyrone Taylor drops back. Power over the middle. Casparello, the tight end, over the 50. Inside the 50, and pulled down by Pat McDonald, one of the inside linebackers.
A flooding pattern by Boston College. Their offense, even though they can't use it all because Power hasn't figured it all out yet, using 2 wide receivers on one side to flood the zone, letting the tight end go down the middle about 12 yards and hook inside. And of course, they had the tailback flaring, so a lot of receivers for the Cal defense to worry about. But very confidently, Mike Power threw the ball right in there between the linebackers.
Casparello has come out, and in for BC is Sean Murphy at the tight end. Martin and Flutie are the wide receivers, and we have a timeout call. It's a timeout call by Boston College. Timeout on the field. We have 7 the ball for BC. BC with a couple of wide receivers to the far side, and Powers the quarterback. First start, sophomore. He's got it. 40, and out of bounds at the 35. And so far, the young kid playing his first game has been sensational.
Oh, boy, I tell you, Sean Halloran's got to be one of the loneliest men in the stadium right now. And there you see the fans have picked it up very quickly, who the future quarterback of Boston College is going to be. Here's a naked bootleg Naked meaning there's really no one out front to block. The receivers have gone down the field, and with the coverage that Cal was in, the secondary did not see Power early enough to be able to come up and make any kind of early stop.
He had 12 yards in the carry, 27 in 2 tries. Bronner, the fullback, and the banging's starting to get a little tougher now. It's Hardy Nickerson, the hardware man, who needed 131 tackles to get to career 500. A goal made the stop. There's Sean Halloran, probably not a real happy guy, but he's a team guy and taking it toughly, but he's one of the better cheerleaders on that sideline across the way.
Yeah, those statistics a little bit deceptive. Last year was well over 50% in his passing completion, but his interception touchdown ratio was what was so bad. Over twice as many interceptions as he had touchdowns, which is why Jack Bicknell has made this decision to go with Power.
Sean Murphy, tight end across. Power, the quarterback, 2nd and 4. Checks it off. Tries to go to Tyrone Taylor, who moves up a notch because of the injury to Troy Stratford, and he was pursued by Darrell Stallworth. Trapillo, the big guard, number 65.
Little hand gesture there by Taylor was to tell him to loft the ball a little bit more, but I frankly thought he threw the ball pretty well. Of course, when you don't catch a ball that has hit you in the hands, you do tend to point fingers at other people.
Wydell, the big tackle there, number 69. Trying the middle again behind the blocking of Twombly and Trapillo.
Cal defense, particularly on the inside, all sophomores on the interior line. But Jet Whiteside is apparently the real key, according to Coach Joe Kapp. He's able to do some real damage on opposing centers, keep the line intact, and they have a lot of expectation from him this year.
And another first down for Boston College. That is the 4th first down they've had rushing. A 1st and 10 on the 26. Hardy Nickerson, number 47. Keep an eye on him. Number 49, Ken Carvey. Outside backer to the near side. Flutie and Marcus Cherry are the wide receivers. 1st and 10. And they give it to Jim Bell. He's replacing Troy Stratford, as we said. Stratford, incidentally, one of the all-time leading rushers here at Boston College. You won't get it today.
Stratford only just a few yards from moving into the 3rd place spot. And if he stays healthy, he could easily erase Mike Esposito's #1 position for Boston College history as being the top rusher. And of course, there's Joe Kapp, who did a little scrambling himself in his days.
Quite a trivia question about Joe Kapp. The only quarterback ever to play in the Grey Cup, Super Bowl, and the Rose Bowl. Joe Kapp. Doug Flutie near side, timeout. Well, Power has taken his 2nd time out of the half. And I'm sure that Jack Bicknell not pleased about that, but some confusion there. We'll talk about it when we come back. 5:17 in the quarter, 7-0 Boston. Next week, USA College Football 86 gets a closer look at Heisman hopeful Thurman Thomas as the Oklahoma State Cowboys host the Houston Cougars. Some of you may be seeing the Virginia Tech Syracuse game, so check the game and time in your area for USA College Football 86 next Saturday.
Well, the Houston Cougars falling faster than the Dow Jones right now. That's a story in and of itself, and of course, Oklahoma State always exciting.
So after the 2nd timeout call by Power, it's a 2nd and 10. In motion, Bell, penalty flag thrown. Flutie off the screen to the 15. And the one-time Beantown area sensational running back gets lots of running room inside the 15. Nickerson and Sidney Johnson hit him on the play, but they're going to bring it back, I believe.
All coming back. Illegal motion in the backfield. The single back sitting there behind Power took a step up, and another man was already in motion.
Boston College with a bunch of first downs, and they've averaged 8.4 yards per first down snap.
Shift on the offense, still 2nd down.
2nd down and 10, ball on the 26-yard line. BC has come roaring out of the blocks with steam coming out of the nostrils. Flutie, near side, far side, Ray Hilbert. Look at this set. Shotgun. Power with a man and just overthrowing the tight end on the play, and that is Sean Murphy.
Tell you what, though, that is okay, because the way that Boston College offense works for them is they've got to open up the short passing game and the running game with the long pass. That's the one thing that they were not doing last year. Here it is from the safeties. Look. And if it's thrown anywhere, thrown just a little bit long so it's not picked off. Good coverage, though, by Cal defense, and that apparently is the weak part of their defense, is the center part of the secondary that was decimated by graduation.
Kelvin Martin is in far side, 3rd and 15, trying to get the wideouts into the ball game by going a little longer. Good rush on the blitz. Power. And overthrows under heavy fire that time, and he caught it from all directions. Not to Tua Tagovailoa was one of the men pouring through there.
I'll tell you, Natu Tua tagged him high at that time, hit him up above the waist, and knocked him down and let Mike Power know it's not going to be easy today, despite his early success.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Sure.
Changed his name already? 7-0. 4:42, and in to try a field goal will be Brian Lowe, who last week missed at 47, made one at 30, and he'll be kicking it from 47 yards away. And it's wide. So Brian Lowe, getting a shot here in his second week, is now 1 for 4 for 86, and the Eagles come up short. Cal will take over. We have 4:36 to play in the quarter, and it's Boston College 7 and California nothing. We're over on the original possession, or the original spot of the ball before the field goal attempt. Brian Bedford, the quarterback. He can run. Freshpain missed him. Romanowski runs him out of bounds after initial pressure by Perrell, the nose guard. Boy, he can run.
Well, he's the young man that last year was really not the productive passer. And when you look at his stats, you just realize he would be a terrific wishbone type quarterback. Came off the bench most of 85, 157 yards, 6 touchdowns rushing, though. Spent a lot of time this summer trying to make himself a better passer. Threw the football 100 times a day, 5 days a week, all summer long.
Bedford. Hicks won't get it. They'll give it to the fullback, Powers. And Powers over the 50 inside the 45-yard line. He's 6'2", 230, and he can run. Rick Nickerson hit him.
Another look on the trap block inside. You see the overrun by Gaffney, the linebacker for Boston College, 57, which forces the tackle coming from the backside by Nickerson. There's the overrun by 57, the linebacker Gaffney that we mentioned, and it's his play.
Delgado to the near side. 1st and 10 at the 41. Bedford in trouble. Going deep and a man open. Oh, he missed his receiver as Darrell Ingram, the tight end, couldn't hang on. He was there looking up into the sun.
That's exactly the point, Eddie. And that was an opportunity. That's the kind of scrambling that Brian Bedford gives to that offense. Kevin Brown, who started most of the season last year, the other quarterback, very good passer, 53%, over almost 1,500 yards in passing. But Bedford gives him that elusiveness in the quarterback spot that Kevin Brown really doesn't have.
Delgado, one of the wideouts in a 2nd and 10, pushing to the far side. Split backs. Power and Hicks. And an offside call. Who will it be against?
A lot of finger pointing.
Conference right there. Number 73, incidentally, is Doug Riesenberg, 6'7", 270-pounder, a converted defensive tackle of the offense for the first time. Big switch here. Let's hear it.
Encroachment on the defense. Still 2nd down.
So the defense encroaching in their anxiety. Joe Romanowski, number 53. Watch him. He's an All-American prospect. Hicks and Power are the split backs for Cal. Bedford on the delay. That's Hicks. And Hicks inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. Garrick McPherson is there. Ted Gaffney, a linebacker, also a tackler on Mark Hicks.
Hicks, one of the 2 fastest players on the team. Eddie had mentioned the 4.4 speed. He's the kind of guy you love to get in the open field, which of course is why they did last year, like to have him returning kickoffs. I don't know if he's going to be too valuable this year to let him do that.
9-yard pickup. Cal with another first down. Cushing and Delgado to the left side. Give it to Powers. And Powers weaves his way inside the 25-yard line. Romanowski a hitter, Gaffney a hitter. But Cal starting to chew up some valuable ground games and also loosening it up so they can go to the pass.
Well, you know, BC has never been a team that has won games with their defense, unlike the Michigans, the OUs, Oklahoma States. BC wins games by outscoring opponents. And so that's why last week's defensive effort against Rutgers was so encouraging for McNabb.
3:03 in the quarter. Delgado and Devers are to the near side. Powers again. Boy, this kid can run. And he doesn't run around you, he runs over you. Rick Nickerson, outside backer, was one of the tacklers on the play. Powers, a big, strong, 6'2", 230-pound sophomore from Youngstown, Ohio. He's gone a long way to play for Joe Kapp. There is Joe. Joe, who in his day was known to be a guy that could say his piece. He had an interesting lawsuit against the NFL. It was one that he won, but he didn't get anything out of it. Just about ended his career. 3rd down and 2 now. The 19. Hicks to the 10. Gaffney again. Boy, this Hicks can weave. Duran and Gaffney combining on the stop, and a late flag has been thrown on the play. Hicks now over 40 yards rushing in 7 carries, and a personal foul is evidently going to be called against Boston College.
More than likely a very late hit. And so from the position on the field, it's going to be half the distance to the goal. They're going to take it into about the 5-yard line.
Bring the chains down.
Let's see if we can get the call from the official.
Dead ball. Personal foul against the defense. First down.
Thank you, Jim Springer. Springer is the referee working the ball game today. 7-0, 2:16 in the quarter. Boston College. Now they've got that power eye, and William Jackson is number 6. First and goal. Hicks can't slide outside. Everyone there, including Big John Bosa, Eric Lindstrom, Tom Perrell, and Mike Degnan, the entire front line. Time is moving. 1:50 to play here in the first quarter. If Boston College might have a problem, it'll be with depth later on.
Here's the line surge right here. As Eddie said, the power eye. He really didn't follow his blocking. Very talented young man, but in the power eye, he got 2 lead blockers out of the backfield. That seems to be the place to go.
Bedford, the quarterback, at the 6-yard line. Actually lost a yard. Bedford, maybe to the 5. And Perrell again. Well, he's been watching some of those old Mike Ruth highlight films.
Well, you can't minimize the impact of a Mike Ruth on your program, who came to practice every day to play, beat up on the offense every day. And that type of attitude is catching.
Joe Kapp will send Cushing and Delgado in at the wide receivers and bring James Devers, number 85, out. 7-0, 3rd and goal at the 5-yard line. Hicks and Power are the split backs. Bedford. Rush. Bosa had him, lost him. Touchdown. Brian Bedford with 42 seconds in the quarter and no flags on the field.
Brian Bedford, we mentioned his scrambling ability, why he was really in there despite his poor passing statistics. He comes back to pass, but there you see the speed and obviously the confidence to go for the goal line.
Boy, he is no slouch, is he, Kyle? He can run the football. He had 6 touchdowns running a year ago. All right.
No good.
And the kick by Leland Ricks is no good. Well, he only missed 2 extra points all last year, and he picked a bad time to miss one for Cal here. With 42 seconds in the quarter, Ricks misses. Bedford scores, and it's Boston College 7, California 6. Their kicking game. Both have been inconsistent, and they're hoping to settle into something that'll get them some points when they need it during the course of this 86th season. So Ricks fails, and now Boston College will get set to receive. That drive, incidentally, 10 plays, 69 yards, 3:42 elapsing, and Bedford with a 5-yard run. Ricks to kick, Tyrone Taylor and Steve Williams will receive. Taylor is on the near side, and Williams, number 2, on the far side. They're standing at their own goal line. With the wind, and running it out will be Taylor to the 15, and he fumbled the ball. But that may not have been a good decision, not because of the fumble, Kyle, but he was in the end zone and he was running upfield with pretty good hang time, and the pursuit was there. He knew he wasn't going to get much room unless he broke something.
It's almost a pre-decision. So many times a quarterback, one of his problems can be he pre-decides which receiver he's going to throw to. Likewise, on a kickoff return, you make the decision. If it comes to me, I'm going to run it back no matter what. And perhaps that was what was going on in his mind.
Mike Power, the quarterback. The running backs. Big Jim Turner, the only running back, and now they've got wide receivers all over the field. In motion is Jim Bell. On the draw. Give it to Turner. Spins his way up to the 17-yard line. Maybe a pickup of 3. And pick one. A lot of Cal Bears were right there. Let's take a look at that scoring summary.
69 yards, as we mentioned, off the missed field goal. Cal got the ball on their own 31, and of course taking up 3:54. Bedford, the quarterback, with a 5-yard run for the touchdown.
Ken Harvey was the last tackler. He comes out of the game now. They put Slevin in. Now they move Harvey to the other side. So Slevin and Harvey are the outside backers. Gehringer's hurt with Tua Tagovailoa, Whiteside, and Sebahar the front of the eye. Power the quarterback, and in motion the tight end Murphy. 2nd and 7 on the 17. Power. Almost intercepted on the deflection that time by Derek Taylor. And he'd have had himself a good return at about the 36-yard line.
You realize how many times they do that in practice? Every day. The tip drill. The ball comes down. He has visions of taking it in for the touchdown himself.
Power, incidentally, is now 2 for 7 in passing. So on the incompleted pass, 3rd down conversion. Boston College is 3 for 8. Jim Turner, the fullback, back there. Tyrone Taylor in the slot and in motion. Against that 4-3 look. Intercepted this time by Sidney Johnson. And Johnson down close to the 20-yard line. Power a little high. And now some tempers are getting a little out of order as Jeff Oliver made the tackle. But that time they got the one they missed the time before, Sidney Johnson.
Well, he does A, B, and C correctly. Drops back, looks, scrambles, and gets out. And he's got a man open on the outside. Of course, that's Sean Murphy, 89. And with our camera angle, you couldn't see the separation, but there was at least 7-8 yards between the man who made the interception, Sidney Johnson, and Sean Murphy, and the ball was just not lofted enough.
We're on USA at Chestnut Hill, and we're coming to 10 at the 21. Bedford on the delay to Hicks. And Mark Hicks, who's averaged 5.1 yards per carry today, same as last year, stopped by big Mike Degnan.
A little bit unusual in terms of how things are going this ball game to be stopped so quickly on a 1st down play. Average gain throughout the 1st quarter. California 7.2 yards for 1st down, and BC 8.4. And of course, here are the whole 1st quarter stats that we've got for you. Wouldn't expect the yards passing for Cal to be any different than that with Brian Bedford in there.
Famous Jimmy Stamus is right on it today doing our stats here in Boston. Mark Hicks and Todd Powers are running backs. Hicks in motion. And off the fingertips that time from Brian Bedford under pressure by Carl Pellegano, the free safety. There's Pelagata. He's 6'2", 193 from Milford, Michigan, a senior. I remember him from last year. And Brian Bedford
from last year.
Hey, hasn't been that long, has it? By the way, he took over from Kevin Brown, who was a starter last year, almost all season long. And so for Bedford, he's really getting his first opportunity to handle his team from the get-go. Hicks and Todd Powers, the running backs. Powers is the fullback, and Hicks is the I-back in the I. Powers, Romanowski is there. Bosa there. Oh, he does run with power, this fellow Powers, and he's big at 230, as I mentioned. Tom Perrell also involved, number 97. Watch him, All-American type, 6'4", 257, John Bosa.
Bosa's the man who made the first hit, and he's on a rush to pass and can.
4th down and 8. That means we've got a field goal attempt, and it'll be Leland Ricks. Kevin Brown, that quarterback we talked about, will hold, and the soccer-style kicker, Ricks, will be kicking. He's a JC kicker. And he hit it.
Tell you what, that one would have gone 55.
That's a 41-yarder. We'll have Tyrone Taylor and Steve Williams back close to the goal line. Ricks will be kicking into the wind. And he kicks it short and out of bounds at the 15-yard line. We'll remind you again that they're kicking off this year from the 35, Kyle, and in the event someone joined late, you might explain why.
Well, they're trying to get more returns. There have been 3 kickoffs so far today. All have been returned. This, of course, the 4th opportunity for a kickoff return. And you can bet with the ball now being kicked off from the 30 that this one's going to be run back.
And the other thing is that they're allowing the linemen to line up only 10 yards behind the football.
And the reason for that is, as we had mentioned, is to avoid the initial high-speed collisions that lead to injuries. The receiving team has to have, as it turns out, they've got to have 5 players up very near where the ball is kicked off. And if you let your kickoff team get a sprinter's start, you got some bad collisions early.
Boy, there's some other games today that are exciting games. Ohio State at Washington trying to come back. Michigan at Notre Dame, the big one everybody's looking at. Of course, Michigan State at Arizona State from the 30-yard line this time. And he booms one into the end zone against the breeze. And some pretty good banging off the ball upfield, but no flags are thrown. So nothing illegal done. And that means that they'll bring it back out to the 20-yard line. And Mike Power will have a chance to see if he can get himself untracked from a 3-8 throwing start.
Glad I didn't bet on that one.
Well, that was some kick.
I would have lost.
So Power will be at the controls again, replacing Sean Halloran, senior quarterback who stepped in to fill for Doug Flutie. John Bronner will be the blocking back, or the only running back, with 3 wide receivers for BC. They'll give it to Bronner. And Bronner gets good running room. Here's a fellow that last year ran 1 time for 1 yard. This time he carries his 223 pounds for some pretty good yardage. Dan Slevin made the stop.
I mentioned the maturity of the offensive line, and of course the injuries to some of the key skill players for Boston College, and that when in doubt you go with your strength, and the strength certainly for the BC offense is in that offensive line.
Joe Kapp, same kind of energy that Mike Power has, the Boston College quarterback. Kapp, the last time Cal went to the Rose Bowl, Kapp was the quarterback in '59. Power dropping back over the middle, has his man, and Jim Bell is up over the 35-yard line. Bumped by Hardy Nickerson, the energetic linebacker they call the hardware man.
I tell you what, that is not your Webster's Dictionary definition of bumped.
Boy, he can put the hit on you, can't he?
Tell you what, when he hit him, he didn't even wrap him up. He knew he was down.
AP, UPI, all of them All-American mention last year, and the runner-up Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year. 1st and 10 BC, trailing by a pair. Jim Bell is back. In motion now. Marcus Cherry. Power under a rush and runs right into the outside man. That's Tua Tagovailoa. That was great containment by the big defensive tackle that time.
Remember earlier in the game, Mike Power on the naked bootleg was able to get outside. This time Tua Tagovailoa does not handle that. 250. He picked up about 15 pounds in the offseason. In addition to this Cal Golden Bear team coming into two-a-days in great shape, and about 8 or 9 guys pick up over 15 pounds, and he was one of those.
You want his whole name? I'm going to give you time to think about it. It may take us about 30 seconds to give it to you. John Hardy is in there, the nickelback. 5 defensive set with Turner and Bell, the running backs for BC. 2nd and 18. That's Bell. Bell back to the 25, maybe the 35-yard line, and John Hardy, the nickelback, along with Majette Whiteside, the nose guard, stopped Bell, who was replacing Troy Stratford.
Well, I don't know if it was Jim Bell or Joe Wolf, but one of the two of them made a mistake there because Wolf was out in front of Bell that time, did not make the block that would have sprung Bell loose. And many times your tailback has got to be the one to kind of push the blocker in the direction that he wants to go.
3rd down and 9. Boston College in the game so far. Has converted 3 times in a 3rd down situation, and they'll take a timeout. So if I'm correct, they have used Leland Ricks. And that's where we are. 3rd and 11. Power the quarterback. Taylor in motion. And Bell goes nowhere. They're ready.
The 3rd time he slipped down, he has had to tape up his shoes because they're a particular brand of shoes that they don't want him wearing necessarily, but he likes them. And that tape, I believe, is what's preventing some of the cleats on the heel part of that shoe to dig in there on those cuts.
That's a great observation, Kyle. Those are high-top shoes also. He has taped up all the way. Todd Powers and William Jackson are in the backfield for Cal now from the 46-yard line. Bedford over the 50 and out of bounds at the 44-yard line. So he gets 12 and he gets another 1st down. Or very close to it. They're going to bring the stakes down here and give it to him. That's 9 1st downs for Cal. Bedford gives him another dimension as a runner.
Well, we've mentioned that he's the one that's picked up their touchdown, and exactly the same thing that Bignell wants out of his quarterback. That flexibility and versatility out of the quarterback slot. They want great athletes there.
Powers and William Jackson in the eye. Hicks is out. Bedford to go along. Underthrows and knocked down. Garrett McPherson, the right corner, knocking it down, intended for Vince Delgado.
Delgado, the #1 receiver last year. 30 receptions, 358, and as we mentioned, the great reverse man. And there's Garrett McPherson, who we saw a lot of last season here on our coverage of college football on USA.
He looks like he's one of the Art Gang kids, doesn't he, with that haircut? I mean, he is close to the bone with that one. Cal so far rushing just under 5 yards a carry. BC under 4. 2nd and 10 on the 43. Devers wide out near side. Hicks is back in. And there he is. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. Remember that song? Eric Lindstrom right there. And all the way back to the Cal 45-yard line. Eric Lindstrom has 2 brothers that played in the NFL. He's got good bloodlines.
Well, the guy that really helped make things happen is Crash Payne, 35. You'll see him coming up. There's Crash Payne, gets it out and strings things out. He's number 35. He'll get back up off the ground and make the play. Now he comes back. There's Crash Payne, 35. He strung it out and forced Hicks to go a little bit wider than he wanted to set up the play for the BC defense.
3rd down conversions, 3 for 4. Bedford, 3rd and 17. Bedford to run. And knocked down with some fine defense by Eric Lindstrom. Boy, that corner or that backer dropped off the line and played that beautifully.
Well, he was over the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball as well.
And a flag has been thrown on the play. It was a 3rd and long. BC trailing by a pair, and Cal at the 42-yard line. And Darren Flutie standing back at his own 21. And the wind is kind of cross now, so the lefty gets it underway. And he bounces it out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So Tabor gets the punt away. another.
See inside the 7-yard line.
Mike Power with Turner and Bell, the running backs, from the 28-yard line. 5-man front for Cal. That's Bell. Kyle, much of an adjustment do you think Boston College having to adapt to the straight-ahead style of Bell as opposed to the side-to-side style of a Stratford?
Well, a little. They know that rather than just hope.
His only comment was, I can't believe how expensive that Napa wine is here. Cheap back home. Turner and Bell. 2nd and 6 on the 32. That's Jim Bell. Some real estate to the 39-yard line. So he'll get about 7 on the play. And Boston College trying to grind it out with 7:27 to play in the half. Hardy Nickerson again on the tackle. And incidentally, we will have our Prudential first half spotlight player at the end of the first half coming up for you. Power on the give. That's John Bronner, the fullback. And over the 40-yard line, very close to the 43. Nickerson, number 47. Dan Slavin, number 41. Coming up off the bottom of the stack is Ken Harvey, the JC kid from Austin, Texas. And that's John Bronner, getting a lot of playing time today. Bronner, the backup to Jim Turner. Coming out of there also is Marcus Cherry, who was not scheduled to start. He had a separated shoulder. Turner and Bell, the wideouts. That's Powell on a 2nd and 7. Complete to Bell over the 50, inside the 50 to the 49.
That's going to be enough for the first down.
Hardy Nickerson is there again. Jack Bicknell, who's feeling a lot better this week. Not only did he make a quarterback change, but he just refinanced his home yesterday.
Had a 17% loan.
Yeah,
Can you
well,
imagine that?
That's enough to make me sick, too. Here's Joe Cap. We'll see him at halftime today, by the way. Have a nice little personality profile as he talks to Hicks and Bedford, the two keys to that running backfield. Bell and Bronner, and that's Bronner. Ken Harvey, the tackler.
I think what we're finding out is Jim Turner's perhaps a better blocker from the fullback slot. Bronner the better runner from the fullback slot, and that's the reason that Boston College is alternating and getting both those fullbacks in the ballgame.
And a bunch of changes now by Cal. Cal will come back to a different look defensively with Gary Hine coming out to cover the wide man over here. Bronner and Bell are running backs on a 2nd and 6 at the 45. Powell. Quick hitter inside to the 35-yard line. Jim Bell tackled by Byron Hector and Derek Taylor. A couple of free safeties in there in combination.
Not the secondary involved in defensive coverage. You talked about not too much trapping, but there was one right there as Oliver came across for Boston College to spring Jim Bell. That was a tackle trap on the inside.
Bell with 31 yards, incidentally. 9-7, BC trailing on the 34-yard line. 1st and 10. On the far side, Keith Lowe, and he's bumped out over there by Sidney Johnson.
Darryl Stallworth, the safety, was on a safety blitz that time, and Power was able to elude him and throw the ball away.
Mike Favreau has checked in as the nose guard now for the Cal defense. Kelvin Martin, number 82, has just come in the ball game. Each team now with 10 first downs with 5:13 to play. Bronner and Bell are the running backs. Power. Double pumps. Nice little check off to Darren Flutie. And Darryl Stallworth, a former walk-on, tackled him. But Darren Flutie was the receiver. Sound familiar, that name?
He's changed numbers this year.
Yeah.
We're going to have a chance to talk to his brother at halftime, as Eddie had mentioned. And a chance to not only update on Doug Flutie's professional football career, but also his analysis of what it takes to play quarterback here at Boston College.
Clock is ticking, 4:37. Power, incidentally, now 5 for 12, 48 yards passing. 3rd and 5. Kelvin Martin is out to the far side. And that's Jim Bell. Oh, boy, did he crack inside the 35 that time. Cal came dangerously close to an offside there before Favreau made the tackle.
Set up the 4th down, another field goal opportunity. This one will come from about 41 yards out, 42 yards out.
Brian Lowe now will get set to kick. Beat out Rooney and Ken Kasler. Sean Carmody is the holder, and they've got it just about dead center of the field. It's a 42-yard attempt. And he got it.
Finally, the dike of frustration has broken. Celebration on the sideline is an indication of that. Into the wind, 42-yard. Brian Lowe, now 2 for 5 in his Boston College Eagle career. And Jack McNeil, he wants a penalty assessed against California for hitting the kicker after the kick was made, and he is really upset.
Jack Bicknell, you don't usually see him that irate. He's a pretty calm fellow. Well, they've really made a lot of changes in the rules, Kyle, little subtle changes to try and protect players from injury. And last year, I believe they made something like 42 rule changes, didn't they?
They were over 100 offered. They made 40 rule changes. We've told you most of the significant ones. One of those we haven't mentioned is that you cannot throw the quarterback down after he's thrown the ball if he's in your grasp. So they're trying to avoid injuries, not only with the rule change on the kickoff, 10-yard rule, but also on throwing the quarterback down after he's released the ball.
So Jack Bicknell will have to settle for a little conversation and a one.
Very interesting because Bicknell was right on him last week saying he made 1 out of 3 in field goals, but they said that was okay. They wanted to keep his confidence after only his first game.
Darren Greer, he's open and tripped up from behind that time. Darren Greer almost busted it wide open before the strong safety Williams made the tackle from nowhere. Mike Williams coming up and making the stop. A 33-yard return, and the ball now is spotted on the 36. Power, that's Mark Hicks. And Hicks again can't get to the outside. They are all over him. John Bosa was the first man to get there. Bill Romanowski was there. Here it is again. Darren, as Greer gets the ball, and he is tripped up. On the return, that's the kickoff return. That gave him a nice 33-yard return, but Hicks trying to get outside, couldn't do it. And a penalty flag thrown, and now they're marching it off against Boston College. You know, Kyle has left me in the booth to go downstairs, but he made a good point on Hicks's running with those shoes. Let's get the call here first.
Dead ball, late hit with the helmet, automatic first down.
Here it is. As the referee, Jim Springer, gives it to us again. Another penalty against BC, and the ball on the 48. Power and Hicks are in there. Bedford to throw. Trying to go deep to Kevin Cushing, and almost intercepted by Carl Pelagata. So Cushing trying to beat the defense deep with 3:17 to play in the half, and Pelagata makes it a 2nd down and 10. And getting back to that point on Hicks, he has not had good footing all day. There's Bedford. Well, he heard it out pretty good, didn't he? And Pelagata covering nicely, Cushing the intended receiver, incomplete. 2nd and 10, ball at the 48. Powers and Hicks, split backs. Hicks in motion. Bedford on the give. And some pretty good cracking inside. Bill Romanowski. Oh, he's a terrific player. Had 150 tackles last year. And they say maybe the best ever linebacker that they've had here at Boston College. Former MVP in the Cotton Bowl. Dave Watson, the offensive tackle, talking to the line coach. 3rd down and 8 at the 50. Hicks and Powers in the eye. Split out. Bedford on the keeper. And that time, one of the linebackers came over, John Galvin. He rushed through one of the gaps and wrapped him up. Give him a couple of yards on it, no more. And a flag thrown on the play. Time 2:32. John Galvin, the senior from Lowell, Mass. Galvin was an outside back and moved to the inside this year. This one looks like it's against Cal.
Holding on the offense, refused, 4th down.
They refused the penalty, brings up a 4th down situation. Joe Kapp organizing his thoughts here as we get close to the end of the first half. And the specialty teams come in. Darren Flutie will be standing back at the BC 21-yard line. Scott Tabor will kick, and he's on his own 35. He's had one punt, 30 yards so far. Nice tight spiral this time, and it goes into the end zone. Power with Jim Turner, the fullback. Tyrone Taylor to the near side. Kelvin Martin and Flutie to the far side. Turner. And Turner trying to go to the middle. Majette Whiteside. Big nose guard. I really like him. He got a lot of playing time last year. You talk to them about Majette, and they say, tough man to knock down. Now, wouldn't you be if you wore a size 16 quadruple E? It's the kind of shoes they put on statues. Kelvin Martin is out to the far side. 2nd and 5. Power to throw. And almost intercepted by the linebacker, Pat McDonald. Pat McDonald dropped back into the coverage intended for Darren Flutie, and McDonald, who they say is not sensational, but you never see him do anything wrong. And that time he was at the right place. 10-9 with 1:46 and a half. Mike Power. Been a sleepless week for this young fella. Found out on Monday he was going to take over. Tyrone Taylor is the lone running back. Marcus Cherry is in the game at a wide receiver. And a penalty flag thrown, and they've taken too much time. 3rd down and 5 is the situation. By the way, we'll keep an eye on things for you this year on USA College Football 86 on the Heisman race.
Delay of the game against the offense. Still 3rd down.
We'll have a 3rd down situation for Jack Bicknell. But names like Thurman Thomas, who we'll see next week at Oklahoma State. Vinny Testaverde, the quarterback at Miami. Kevin Sweeney, a quarterback at Fresno State, who's chasing Doug Flutie's all-time yardage record. Jimmy Harbaugh of Michigan will be going against Notre Dame today. Some of the names in the running for the Heisman. 5th penalty for BC. 3rd and 10. Powers gets rid of it, hits Casparello. And back to the 27-yard line. So he gathers in 7 yards. And Gary Hine, the rugby cornerback, stopped him. Peter Casparello. Pretty good year in '85, but he was playing behind the all-time leading receiver in BC history, Scott Gieselman. Vince Delgado goes back on a 4th and 3 with 1:10 and a half. David Rooney, and just does get it away. Good recovery. And a flag is thrown. Oh my, on the coverage. They didn't give the man who the punt was intended for enough room to make the catch. And he didn't signal a fair catch, I don't believe, unless we see it again. That was Mark Murphy, who was a backup lineman. We'll get the official call from the referee. And coming over there to help out on the play that time, almost blocking the kick, was John Hardy. Bedford. And thrown out of bounds on the far side, intended for Vince Delgado and covered by Carl Crushpain, the strong safety. So Bedford now on a 2nd down and 10. Bedford is 2 for 7, incidentally, for 19 yards. We're under a minute to play in the first half. Hicks and Powers are the running backs. Last year, Cal averaged almost 376 yards a game total offense. Delgado and Devers are the wide receivers in. Bedford from behind. Good pursuit, and this kid Perrell is playing a tremendous game so far. Perrell, who last year played behind Mike Ruth. Look at the size of him. He's ready. Third down and 11:33 seconds to play. And at halftime in Eugene, Oregon, between Colorado and Oregon, he's undergoing rehabilitation. And that pass intended for James Devers. And it goes incomplete under the coverage by Ted Gaffney, the linebacker. 27 seconds to play here in the first half. I was really happy to read that about Reinhardt, because there's a fellow that almost died a couple of years ago. He's coming back slowly, and that's good news. Flutie is back at his own 14-yard line. Scott Tabor to punt. Big rush. No flag. Partially deflected on the rush. And it'll be down by Cal. So Cal, good coverage. Tabor partially deflected, as you saw indicated right there. Dad played basketball here. He made his decision before his senior year he was coming here. And now they'll just run the clock down to the final moments of the first half as Power falls on the football, and Boston College will let it run, and they'll go to halftime with a 1-point lead. So unlike last week where the Eagles were shut out in the first half, in fact the 3 quarters 11-0, they end up today with a pretty good first half. So that's the end of the first half, and the score, Boston College 10, California 9-36-yard field goal in the second quarter. And standing back for BC and ready to receive Tyrone Taylor and Steve Williams. That's Tyrone Taylor at the goal line. To the 10, to the 20, and to the 22-yard line, and that's about where it is going to start. Ray Nicholas, one of the tacklers, along with Mike Sullivan, who incidentally has a twin brother Kevin that plays on the same team. Both of them are safeties. 22-yard return, and Power is back. So Mike Power will start it all off. 6 for 14, 54 yards passing unofficially in the first half, and 1 interception. Bell and Turner are the running backs in the I. Dombrowski and Flutie are the wideouts. Open. 40. And a quick hitter that time, but Jimmy Bell. Steve Hendrickson, outside linebacker, the first to pull him down, but Bell, who they are very impressed with here at Boston College, gets good yardage here. And as we see him pick his way through the crowd, Bell will get a good run. He ends up with 21 yards, now 56 yards on 11 carries. First and 10. Turner and Taylor. And Tyrone trying to go to the middle, couldn't, gets to the outside. The hole wasn't there, so he comes behind the block of Trapillo and Wydell on the right side, and Hardy Nickerson on the stop.
Taylor really used a lot more in terms of long-term yardage than Bell was last year. Here's a look at the defense, and there's the hard man, Hardy Nickerson.
You ready to try that name yet? Tua Tagovailoa?
Oh, sure. Let me try the first one. Gerardus Mauritius, not to a Tessina, Tua Tagovailoa.
And the play's all over. Power pulled down. And they had the strong safety blitz. Darryl Stallworth coming through there, the senior from Los Angeles.
That's the position that Stallworth plays. That if Joe Cap felt there was a weakness, it was in the center of the secondary. Powers out and flushed out quickly. Once again, the safety blitz. We mentioned California with a very, very aggressive defensive style. They are going to give up the big play, but they want to cause a lot of turnovers, and that's the kind of thing that will do it.
Second sack by Cal. Power still in there. Dombrowski comes off, and Marcus Cherry in at a wide receiver with a play. 3rd and 18. So far, BC 3 of 8 in third down conversions and have missed the last 4. Complete. That's Tyrone Taylor. Does the 360 and can't get any further than the 36 before Derek Taylor wraps him up.
Well, unlike the confident way in which Boston College started the first half, not a first down here.
Know what that's all about. There's the man that started 9 games for them last year, Kevin Brown. more of a passer than a runner. And Vince Delgado back to receive. Boy, almost a late punt getting away.
Well, got to be a flag down. Got to be a flag down.
Fumbled by Delgado.
We possibly can, and we'll try.
Delgado gets it back after BC right on top of the ball, but a flag has been thrown on the play.
Well, BC's got the first down. Roughing the kicker.
Roughing the kicker, and they'll bring it back. Yes, sir. Referee is indicating bring that ball back here, boys.
Well, they almost got a chance to decline it had they recovered that fumble on the reception. Picked up about 50 yards. Here's a look again. David Rooney not doing a good job of getting the kick away quickly, but that enticed the California kick coverage to come in. And no doubt about it, he was hit.
Well, wasn't he? California coming through there with a reserve defensive back, Dixon, getting called for the penalty.
The kicker gets the defense, automatic first down.
NCAA a year or so ago did make another good rule involving the kicker, and that is a kicker who fakes an injury or fakes being hit can be penalized. And that balances things out a little bit better. Used to be you could fake it all you want and they couldn't do anything against you.
So another big penalty right there, this time against Cal. Taylor and Bronner. And Bronner the call, and he'll try the middle. And both these teams pretty evenly matched so far. Ron Sebahar, an explosive defensive lineman, 6'5", 255 from Pleasanton, the tackle. Young Mike Power. Been sacked a couple of times this afternoon. But the jitters are gone, Kyle. Now it's just natural instincts. Back to what he did so well as a high school performer. Bronner and Taylor, the running backs, in a 2nd and 6. And again, not much running room as Tyrone Taylor tries to soften up the middle. The linebacker, Steve Henderson, comes over there after the interior line stopped him, and Ken Harvey is the guy that gets credited with a big stop. 3rd down situation. 11:35 in the 3rd. 10-9, Boston College with a lead. BC trying to rebound after a shocker last week, 11-9 loss to Rutgers. 3rd down and 7, and Bronner is the lone running back. Tyrone Taylor is also in there, cocked to the right side in the hole. Big rush. Power. Power. May go. And trying to run for the sidelines and bumped out of bounds by Gary Hines.
Well, as badly as we all feel for Sean Halloran, even Sean Halloran has got to understand that's exactly the reason why Bicknell is going to use this man at quarterback. Lots and lots of pressure from behind. He's able to get flushed out, and he goes straight north on this one.
A big gainer from Mike Power. 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Boston College. Jimmy Bell. And the Bell man brought down by the hardware man, Hardy Nickerson.
Can't you just see him doing commercials a few years, replacing Pat Summerall? You never know.
Are you sure he wasn't in the Navy, this fella?
Well, they're pregnant with anticipation. I don't know what else to describe that.
He's loose. He always has been. Joe Kapp. Second and goal at the 2. Turner blocking for Bell. Nowhere. He didn't get it. Sidney Johnson, the initial hit. Tarek Taylor, the tackle.
Well, there's a situation where, again, the sprinter speed helps if you keep trying to push things outside, but he had, it looked like, enough opportunity to go straight ahead.
Big decision here. Young Power is limping. Out of the game goes Bronner. Casparello, a tight end, comes in. They have 3 tight ends in the game for Boston College, and Turner and Bell are running back. From the 2. And Bell trying to get inside, can't. Boy, some defense right here by Cal.
Yes, it is defense, but I'm also going to say it's lack of experience for Bell. As soon as he has a chance, he's got to go to the goal line and not keep trying to string things out. 3 times in a row, they've strung him out and not allowed him to penetrate.
And of course, going along with that, Kyle, he's been known as a straight-ahead runner.
Well, see,
he's trying to do something he's not used to doing. 19-yard field goal attempt coming up by Brian Lowe. 9:07 in the third. Hash marks near side. And Lowe has hit another. So Boston College has taken a 13-9 lead with 9 minutes to play.
Boy, he did not go anyplace.
What?
You like that, huh?
I like it. I like it. 13-9 is what we have. Boston College with a lead. We're going to get another march off against Cal. So after they nullified the 27-yard return on the interception by Romanowski, they took it back, and now they'll go back the other way.
Dead ball. Personal foul against the defense. First down.
Not a happy day for Joe Cap right now. It's the 4 turnovers that have done him in. I say 4, the 2 fumbles, 1 interception, but I have to include the roughing the kicker, which led to the 19-yard field goal that BC just got as a 4th turnover.
Power. Pretty good rush. Has a man open. That's Turner. And Turner backs down inside the 15 to close to the 12-yard line. Gary Hine, cornerback on the far side, was one of the tacklers over there.
That man right there completed 62% of his passes in high school, and he had a great touch on the ball, lofting it out there so Jim Turner could chase it down. But as Eddie has told you, it looks like he's still limping.
Clock rolling at 5:40. 13-9 in the third quarter. Bronner, the big fullback, McDonald and Harvey and Nickerson, and the first man to get there was Tua Tagovailoa, a big man from San Rafael, California. There he is, number 62, also number 65, Mike Favreau. Give them all credit. It's John Bronner. 9 rushes, 42 yards for Bronner. Powers 8 for 16 passing. 3rd and 4. Check off to Tyrone Taylor. And knifes inside the 10. Good block by Steve Trapillo.
We're being critical of Jim Bell earlier. That's exactly what Bell needed to be doing. Taylor took the ball, took whatever gap there was, and ran powerfully straight ahead. And now Bicknell's got to make the decision. One more look again here. This is kind of the read screen call. This is a quick read by the quarterback. Whatever the linebacker does, the decision is made. And there's what we're talking about. Taylor going straight ahead, picks up good yardage, but doesn't try to string it out on the outside.
And we're going to have a timeout here for a moment. And the indication is that Boston College has taken the timeout, and we'll take a timeout ourselves. 4:12 in the third. Boston College 13. See, the ball is at the 15-yard line, or it'll be kicked from approximately the 15, which makes it a 25-yard field goal attempt by Brian Lowe on a 4th and 1. Lowe is 2 for 3 so far. Missed a 47-yarder, made a 42 and a 19-yarder. Carmody holds. And it's wide. He hooked it that time. So a great field position opportunity blown by Boston College. And they'll have to hold on with 4:07 in the third to a 13-9 lead. And that is Mike Power, Kyle. And they're working on his ankle. He's been limping for some time.
Looks like they're putting it on his maybe a bad blister. This is only the 4th play of the quarter for California in terms of the first half. It was about 50-50, but BC has dominated the time of possession here in the third quarter.
20-yard line, Brian Bedford. Give it to Mark Hicks. Outside and slips again.
Guarantee it's those shoes.
Guarantee it.
Look at that, right? You can see the tape is covering the little studs. They're rubber studs underneath there. And a player like him, much like a Gale Sayers, uses the heels for stability and to cut with. And it's fine if he's going straight ahead, but as soon as he breaks, watch, he'll use the back of his feet to begin to make the break and to slow down. There's the break, the slow down, hits the tape.
And I'm surprised no one on their side has caught that. I really am. Hicks and Powers. 2nd and 11. A little slant in that time, intended for James Devers. And that time it was Vinnie Mon. Boy, he liked to get that pop in there, didn't he?
Well, every extra step Devers took, it was Suicide City. The ball was thrown late.
So it'll bring up a 3rd and 11 for the Cal Bears. Ball just nose over the 19-yard line. Hicks, Powers, Delgado, one of the wide receivers with Devers. Fumble. And recovered by Bedford, but it's a key fumble because that brings up a 4th down and long. And Cal will be forced to punt deep in their own territory. BC could come out of this with some pretty good field position. Oh, it'll be Scott Tabor coming back in to punt. He's averaging 41.7, his long 51 yards. This will be his 4th punt, and Flutie at his own 45. Low kick. He's going to let it roll. And it takes a Cal roll. And dies at the 32-yard line, or thereabouts. So he got a lot out of that one for one that didn't look too artistic.
Guarantee you, Jim
Bell back there in the backfield. Flutie at a wide receiver. And Bell again. From the 32-yard line, about 4 yards on the carry. 2nd down coming up. Pat McDonald was the man that made the tackle. Power, incidentally, now 9 for 17 passing, 64 yards.
My guess is Power has one of two things, either a heel bruise or he got a very bad blister, which can happen easily on artificial turf because the foot grabs so easily.
Jim Turner back there with Bell. Flags all over the place, and it's starting to get a little bit sloppy right here.
Wydell with the movement in the line, the right tackle.
He's got a brother on this team also, doesn't he? His name is Doug Wydell. He's a tackle on the other side. Doesn't start, however. Back up. Let's get the call.
Dead ball, illegal procedure on the offense. Still 2nd down.
2nd down and 5. The BC bench, they're feeling pretty good right now. They lead 13-9. Maybe a little time here for a power run. About ready, isn't he? Nope. Give it a Bell. Bell close to the 35-yard line, but Jet Whiteside, that nose guard we've talked about quite a bit here today, was the tackler. Ken Harvey also helped out on the play. Kenny Bell with a lot of work in the absence of Stratford. 18 carries for 67 yards. Or Jim Bell. Ken Bell was here last year. I drew that one out, didn't I? Power calling the signals. Fumble. Big opportunity if Cal can recover. And it looks like Derek Taylor, the free safety, snuck in there and recovered the snap, and they have. So another turnover. This has been a game of turnovers. As you see one of the members coming up off the pile here.
Comes out before he's got the ball. Not sure exactly what all happened. Twombly, the center, is pulling there to give some pass protection, and he takes his quarterback out. And so he's unable to fall on the ball.
Ball on the 34. Big opportunity for Cal. Powers and Williams are the running backs. Hicks is not in there. They'll make that Bedford the quarterback. And Bedford down to the 25-yard line. Carl Creshpain and Ed Duran, a converted quarterback, stopped him right there.
I thought we'd see a lot more of that from this man Bedford because he is such a good runner. Calls his own number on the draw, on the sweep, on the pitch option.
44 seconds in the third. Powers and William Jackson are the running backs. 13-9. Give it to Powers, the big fullback, on a 2nd down and 2, trying to get the first down. And Romanowski again the tackler. Boy, that BC pass that was intercepted could be costly, Kyle. The one they couldn't knock in, couldn't even get the field goal out.
Well, it was the first real miss kick that he's had. Of the 7 kicks this season, 3 of which he's made, only one of those 4 misses was really kicked poorly. That was that last one.
Power eye, Jackson, Powers, and Greer. And Greer gets the call. And down to the 24-yard line. And still trying to get that first down. Ed Duran was there. And with him, Eric Lindstrom. Well, we'll be back at the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll tell you that the Eagles still hang on. Hopeful Thurman Thomas, as the Oklahoma State Cowboys will host the Houston Cougars. Now, some of you may be seeing the Virginia Tech-Syracuse game, so check the game and time in your area for USA College Football 86. That's coming up next Saturday. So I hope you'll join Kyle and myself. We have a 13-9 ball game as we start the 4th quarter, in Boston College with the lead and a little fun. Oh my! Oh.
That was not a lot of fun.
That's not too good for the back, I wouldn't think.
You know that missed field goal? You remember when Bicknell
being threatened as California goes for it. 4th down and less than a yard. Hicks over the top should have enough as he's pushed back, but appeared in hurdling the pile to pick up enough for the first.
They only needed about 4 or 5 inches to get the first down. Hicks went right over the top. Boston College defensive line in the last 2 or 3 plays.
For on the give that time, and that is Hicks, and he has taken the tape off those shoes.
Well, that could have been as much as 20, 30 yards up to this point in some key positions.
Oh, easily. First down. Hicks. Here's what we have after 3 quarters. Rushing, BC with an edge. Passing, BC with an edge. Total offense, BC all the way. And BC, I'll bet overwhelmingly, as I said, time of possession. At the 22, 1st and 10. Powers and Hicks, the running backs. That's the keeper by Bedford. Tries to turn up and nowhere. Porrell again. Boy, has he played a nice game. Along with Tom Degnan, Eric Lindstrom, Bill Romanowski. There's Porrell. Hasn't he been terrific today? And Hicks, Kyle, going back to the point you made, 29 yards on 14 carries. After a good start, he's only averaging 2 yards a carry.
Hicks, one of 2 very outspoken California Golden Bear players. Hardy Nickerson, the other one. Nickerson saying that they were looking for some postseason play. Hicks a little bit more direct. He says, we're going to a bowl.
And this year, 2nd and 10 at the 22-yard line. Bedford, that's Delgado. He lost it. Did he have it? That's the question. And I believe it may. Yeah, well, they're going to give it to Boston College. John Bosa. And another turnover.
Tell you what, that was a matter of, I don't want to call this one, buddy. 5 different officials were waiting for someone else to make the gutsy call. And finally, it was the line judge who did it. And he's the man who everyone is huddled around, and now he wasn't sure, so they've reversed the call, which is the smart thing to do. The referee, Jim Springer, came in. And everybody in the world calling this on the BC defense that it was, does he have possession? The ball's still bouncing, falls through. No, he does not.
He didn't have possession.
Linesman got intimidated, made the call for BC, and then the referee came in, and after further discussion, overruled it.
That's an incompleted pass is what they rule. It's a 3rd down and 10, and the ball is on the 23-yard line. Hicks and Powers, running backs. Delgado, one of the wide receivers, pushing the other. 3rd down. Pitch back, reverse. Look out, Delgado. And out of bounds as he dives for the pylon. Carl Creshpain. You recall in the first half when we told you about Delgado in that reverse? Well, he Had 2 touchdowns last year, 6 times tried it, averaged over 24 yards per reverse.
Boy, he has got speed too. He will just swish through your screen. Got good leads out front.
And he's all the way down to the 7-yard line. That's Vince Delgado with a 16-yarder.
He remembers the punt returner as well for them.
13-9, Cal trailing in the 4th. BC's got a tighten.
Got single coverage on the outside.
Bedford, nice block, turning in. Bedford. Did they give it to him? Touchdown, Cal.
Well, big decision coming up now. On the replay, Porrell, who's the nose tackle for Boston College, almost pushes Bedford in. Watch him. Here he comes, number 72 on the backside, and he knocks off some of his own Boston College defenders. Here's a look again. You'll see Porrell much better, 72. He's coming right behind. There he is, and he almost, it's his momentum that knocks Bedford into the end zone for the California touchdown.
Now how big is that incompleted pass that Boston thought they had, huh? Bedford with a 7-yard run. Bill Thompson, the linebacker, on the far side is down. Thompson is a junior from Trenton, New Jersey.
We told you last year that Bedford scored 6 touchdowns running.
Leland Ricks is in to kick. Cal with a 2-point lead, trying to go to 3. He missed it. Oh my, does that set up an interesting scenario? As Ricks has missed his 2nd point after today. And for our local affiliates, we'll remind you that you're seeing it. He had that streak in the middle of the year where he was 8 of 9.
And those 4 of 5 were all from within 35-yard line.
Tough one to handle and out of bounds. And he's done that a couple of times. So he's not having the kind of afternoon that he would like. The fact that they blew the opportunity to recover that fumble might have been different. Mark Camphouse should be the next quarterback. Tyrone Taylor. Tyrone. And Tyrone to the 30-yard line. Maybe the 31. And it was Rain Nicholas who stopped him over there on a 28-yard return. So we're going to get a new quarterback. And here he is, Mark Camphouse. Another sophomore, recruited at the same time as Power. No more Sean Halloran. He's 6 feet, 186 from Cincinnati Moeller.
He was actually rated higher coming out of high school than Mike Power was.
And he takes the shot, tries to take it sideways as Pat McDonald. Stallworth was there. Campus, unlike a Power, is the kind of fellow that does it by the numbers. Not so much of a scrambler, although he did it right there a little bit more. But you tell him to run a set play, which they're doing, and he'll do it that way, right by the letters.
Well, if we thought that for Boston College, with Mike Power's quarterback, their offense would be limited, it's even shrunk even more now.
Well, just over the 30. Bell and Bronner, the running backs. Camphouse, the quarterback. Direct give to Bronner. And greeted over there by Ken Harvey initially, the strongest man on the Cal team. Came from Laney Junior College by way of Austin, Texas. There he is. That's the unknown factor that Cal is going to sick on the Pac-10 this year. They say that he is terrific.
We are in the midst of 2 battles right now. A battle of 2 football teams, but a battle of self-image for Sean Halloran. Now that the decision is clearly made, everybody knows Sean will come in only if there's no one else left.
3rd down and short yardage. Camphouse. Intended for Kelvin Martin, who you've not heard a lot of today, and there's a reason for that. He wasn't even supposed to play. He's the best receiver they have here, but he has a severely bruised tendon. And up until a day or so ago, it was thought that he wouldn't play at all this week, and they miss him. He has 1 catch for 8 yards, and that's it. Delgado is back. He's standing at about the 20-yard line. David Rooney. This is his third punt. Delgado. And down he goes. So they'll take over inside the 35-yard line. Boston College trailing it. It's California 15, the BC Eagles 13. All right. Syracuse last week, Tennessee this week. Powers and Hicks, the running backs. There's Hicks. Well, you know, Joe Kapp said he reminded him a lot of Gale Sayers, but he's not had a chance to unravel anything here today. Andy Hemmer, a linebacker, was the man that stopped him with John Bosa.
Here's the look again. There's Bosa, 97, fighting off blocks, spinning back on the inside. There he squares him up and forces Hicks to back off a little bit. They give some time for the pursuit.
Hicks and Powers on a 2nd down and 12. Delgado is near side as the receiver. Bedford. I don't know if that was miscommunicated or not, but Delgado was over here waiting for it, and the tight end, Darrell Ingram, cut across and couldn't hang on with Garrick McPherson, the cornerman, and Carl Crushpain making sure nothing happened.
Crushpain with a lot of experience in the secondary. Last year, Boston College, one of its weaknesses was its secondary. They have been burned so many times, I imagine they're now learning how to play it.
There's Ingram. Cal by a pair with 11:07 to play. 3rd down and 12. Bedford 3 for 13 passing. And he's got his man. Completed pass far side. And that is James Devers. Big hit close to the 40-yard line.
There's a question on that. If he did catch the ball, if the tackle drove him out of bounds, then he should allow it to stay in, but there's not too much argument from Kapp.
No, it was out of bounds. Out of bounds, so they'll bring up a 4th and 12, and Tabor is in to punt again. Cal now averaging 43.5 yards a punt, the long 51 yards. Flutie back at his own 30. Bad snap. Flutie. And from the 34 all the way up close to the 48-yard line. Darren Greer and Sullivan are the tacklers, and Flutie with a nice 15-yard return. 15-13 Cal on USA.
I would have to think that Boston College might refuse this penalty, even though it'll move them back 5 yards. BC has excellent field position at their own 48.
Illegal procedure on the kicking team. Refused.
That is, in fact, what they do.
Call now, and we'll say
47 seconds left to play in the game. Boston College will enjoy excellent field position at their own 48. And the score, California 15.
Camphouse, the quarterback. Flutie from the 45 to the 37-yard line of Cal. Sidney Johnson made sure he went no further.
Part of the difficulty for a quarterback in the BC offense is that you have got to be able to read secondary movement. That time Rob made a great read and understood that with people backpedaling he could get the short one, and didn't even look at any other receivers, took the short gain that the defense was giving him and made the correct decision.
14 yards on the play. And the 5th first down passing by Boston College. Bronner and Bell. Bronner! Oh my, is he running well. And down close to the 26-yard line. John Bronner's been great. 54 yards for the big guy. He's a junior from Trenton, New Jersey. And the ball now is on the, well, not quite to the 26-yard line. Another first down. That's the 16th for Boston College. Jimmy Bell. Jimmy Bell. And Hardy Nickerson rings the bell as he brings him down.
Let's remember we've got pretty much an all-senior offensive line, several of whom for BC have played in front of Doug Flutie. And here's Hardy Nickerson, isolation, comes across, beats the block, and does make the tackle on Bell, or Bell would have been into the end zone. But you have an all-sophomore down defensive line in front of Hardy Nickerson there, number 47. And going against an all-senior offensive line of Boston College.
Bell and Bronner on a 2nd down and 2. Camphouse, the quarterback. Bronner. And it looks like he's got his first down. Going to be close. The clock rolling. It's 9:10 to play here, or 9:13 to play in the ball game. 15-13. Not to Tua Tagovailoa, the defensive left tackle, along with Joe Nelms, another tackle. The tacklers.
Anytime you see those offensive linemen where they're on their stomachs on top of people, you know they're blowing some blocks out.
Ball is at the 13-yard line. Don't forget, all the plays are being called by the BC sideline. Mark Camphouse is the quarterback. Jimmy Bell. Jimmy Bell to the 7, maybe the 6-yard line. Derek Taylor, the free safety, and Dave Ortega, a linebacker, tackle him on the play.
Here's Jim Bell again. We mentioned his great speed, and this time he does go forward. Not the power runner of a Joe Bronner. Here's the full house. Very unusual for Boston College. Full house backfield.
2nd and 2. That's Jim Turner. And Turner from the 5, maybe to the 3-yard line, trying to get in there. Boston College will go with their jumbos when they go to that full house with Bronner, Turner, and usually Bell. Hardy Nickerson, that all Pac-10 linebacker.
Guarantee you that man has not seen the full house backfield for BC, and they're trying to talk on the phones about it because that's a look that Boston College has not used before.
That's one that they thought about using a little bit more today, and we may even see him try and sweep out of that formation, which they've never done. Jack Bicknell.
In case you're wondering, Bronner, number 90, former defensive tackle. That's why he's got number 90.
This drive originated on the 48 after the 15-yard punt return by Flutie. So good drive by BC. They have 18 first down, and they have a 1st and goal from the 3. Casparello, the tight end, in motion. Jim Bell outside. 2nd effort, very close. Nice 2nd effort there by Jimmy Bell. Down inside, Derek Taylor put the knock on him. I tell you, that offensive line of Boston College is doing a good job.
Here they are again, some more reach blocking, zone blocking, and he puts his head down right on the edge. Derek Taylor comes up for California to deny him the touchdown.
7:03 to play in the game. Cal 15, BC 13. Full house, Bronner, Turner, and Bell. Touchdown, Boston College. Jim Turner.
Here's the full house. Bronner, the big beefy man, leads him. Turner comes in, gets his head over the line again. Only the front part of the ball has to break this plane along that line. Only the front part. Clearly it does. Touchdown made by the offensive line.
Turner, the 1-yard run.
And now BC, obviously, they're going to go for 2 because 1 point means nothing. That would only give them a 5-point lead, so they want to try to move it up to 6.
Remember, setting up, looking like they want to go for a pair. They have 3 tight ends in there: Hudgens, Murphy, Casparello, all on the right side of the line. Turner and Taylor, the running backs. Camphouse, the quarterback. And the pass intended for Tyrone Taylor or Brian Lowe. We're in the 4th. You have Ford and Greer. Ford on. Just had to pick that baby out of the air. Let's see if we can get a name. White and Greer on the left side of your screen, set to receive for Cal. 6:56, as I mentioned, left in the game. There's Lowe. Short kick from the 6, Greer. Gives the leg, takes it back, but right there to make the tackle for Boston College was one of the fellas on that kick team coming in to help out. And his name is Goulet. We don't even have a number on him. We just had to pick that baby out of the air. Let's see if we can get a name. I know it's not Robert, because this guy's hair is messed up. A 17-yard return. Boy, they're giving us a test today, Kyle. They're throwing about 9 names at us we've never seen.
That was Smithers.
As Bedford is dropped for a big loss, and Porrell has been terrific. That time, Big John Bosa with help from Porrell.
Well, the pro scouts are already in here at BC looking at films of him, and they've known about him for years. He'll certainly be a big pick. Sorry.
6:24 to play. 19-15 Boston College. Bedford on a 2nd and 19. Call the draw. That's Hicks. And he shows some pretty quick feet, but no room. Eric Lindstrom. Bill Romanowski. And I'd say BC's defense has done a good job of tying up that offensive line of Cal this afternoon. So Watson, Smith, Steele, King, and Riesenberg.
You have to remember, in years past, BC's always given up well over 20 points a ball game. Some of the best teams in the nation under 9, like 8 or 9 points a ball game. So they have not won it with their defense, but they're maturing, and now maybe this is the year in which the defense has got to win.
That's Bedford. Pulled down from behind. Eric Lindstrom. Boy, and that defense is charged up now. And that'll mean that Cal is going to have to kick the ball, and that's something they did not want to do.
Well, you hear this response here at Alumni Stadium. They have not seen the BC defense manhandle too many people in this stadium.
Bad snap. And spun down in the end zone. Rico Lavi was the man that spun him down.
The snap hit the up back. And Jackman is normally the man who snaps the ball, number 68. Joe Kapp is going crazy on the sidelines.
A loss of 14 yards and 4 downs and a safety. And that makes it Eagles 21, California 15, and they'll have to punt.
Here it hit one of the upbacks on the leg. Tabor actually did a decent job of trying to get it out of there and not kicking the ball to allow a touchdown for Boston College with the obvious block.
It's 21-15, Boston College. 5 minutes when we return.
Prudy only returned 1, so that shows you what the injury has done to Kelvin Martin.
He was 2nd in the nation in punt return yardage. All right, here's Tabor. Nice punt, Kelvin Martin, 28-yard line. And hit at the 43 and down. So Martin on the return, but how the mistakes have hurt Cal. 3 turnovers, including 2 kick team mistakes, 2 missed point after touchdowns, 2 fumbles, an interception, and therein lies a big part of the story.
One more time, it hits the hand of the upback on the right side. They're two right behind the center. Hits him in the hand and deflects the ball. It was not really a bad snap. It's just the hand of the upback as he was trying to keep his balance, hit the ball. Good television angle from our production crew.
Camp House gives to Turner. And the fullback gets some running room up the middle. And BC will look to keep it on the ground now and try and grind that clock down. They have 4:40 to play in the ball game. David Ortega was the tackler for the Cal Bears. Jack Bicknell confidently. You know, over the last 3 years, we've watched that little boy following him around on the sidelines.
Yes,
carrying that. That's his son, and he's getting big.
Oh.
Bigger and bigger. John Bronner. He's the running back and gets the call. And Bronner gets about 5 yards on the carry, and he's done a terrific job eating up yards.
Some of the distressed looks from the bench for the California Golden Bears.
We are at the 4:13 mark now, and we may overdo the time for you, but it is important as we take it down to the wire. Clock rolling. 21-15. John Bronner, the running back. And BC trying to run behind the big right side of the line. Trapillo and Wydell. Boston College's offensive line averages 275 pounds. Boy, that's a lot of beef on the hook.
This is the fun time of the game for them as well. They got big Bronner back behind him, who lost about 20 pounds since he's been here, and he's still big. Running the ball up behind him. Bronner, I'm sure Eddie has mentioned, is about 225, came in here about 245.
21-15 with 3:18. Jimmy Bell. And staggers down to about the 42-yard line, or maybe a yard on the play. If you're wondering, timeouts remaining, both teams with 2. That's Jim Bell. Steve Hendrickson, the tackle.
You bet Jack McNeil told him not to go anywhere near the sidelines unless he's being substituted for him.
Bell with 22 carries and 87 yards. He didn't have that in his career coming into the game, I don't think. Well, that's a lot of work. Bronner is the lone running back. Camphouse, the quarterback. Bronner. He had a 3rd and 5 situation. Kyle, I'd say kudos to the youngster Camphouse, who came in unknowing that he was going to get this kind of a situation, and he's directed his team nicely 3 times.
Well, you know the old saying, a little child shall lead them.
Boston College will punt. They've had 3 of them, and they've averaged 33 yards. And now they'll give it back with 2:10. Pretty good rush. Tua Tagovailoa put the rush on, and there's a whistle.
Well, the ball went out of bounds long before it hit the ground, so a very, very short kick to the 20-yard line.
Yep. And again, repeating one of the facets that probably needs some work in the BC offensive scheme of things. The punting game has not been terrific today.
Less than a 20-yard punt.
18 yards, if you want to know the truth. 2:05 to play in the ball game. It's 21-15. Game next week, Oklahoma State with the University of Houston. Cal offense only 143 total yards unofficially. Bedford. And Hicks was the intended receiver, and he comes up short. So it has not been a great afternoon for Mark Hicks either. And they bottled him up pretty well. Second down 10.
Mark is a very eloquent young man. He's now using some of that eloquence on the field, talking back to BC players. Obviously a ball that should have been caught.
Bedford is 3 for 15, but he's had about a half dozen drops today. 2nd and 10. Under 2 minutes to play. Bedford, there's that little Utah series, and they go to Hicks. Trying to break it open here with something big, and they can't get it going. As Bill Romanowski was there again. Boy, this tough BC defense. They were good last week, and they're even better today.
Well, we just saw the great hands of Hicks there, being able to catch on to the ball. That was not a very good throw. That was Hardy Nickerson there having some work done on his foot and ankle.
Bedford, they've got him strung out, and Thompson hustles him out of bounds.
Well, he could have made the first down had he fought for the yardage, and that's awareness of a quarterback.
Which is what we talked about earlier. They're trying to get him to think like a quarterback.
Very easily could have made the first down.
Joe Capps talking to Kevin Brown over there in the sidelines. There he is, holding the hands up. That was last year's starting QB. And there may be a big decision for Joe Capps this week as to what he wants to do at that quarterback position.
Tell you what, I still like this guy, though. If he can have the chance to fail and the chance to improve.
4th and 1, Kyle. Well. They're going for it on a 4th and 1. Hicks. They may have stopped him. Eric Lindstrom. Another fine performance for BC. And they did. They stopped the all-everything running back, Mark Hicks, who they said on the West Coast that he was the best since O.J., a natural, who last year made a first down every 3 times he touched the football, but not today.
Eric Lindstrom, what a ball game. Recovered 1 fumble early, the second fumble that was made by California. And between he and Boza and Perrell, they have done quite a job from that left side and center of the BC defensive line.
Camphouse will take the club now from the 29-yard line with 1:18 to play and a 21-15 lead.
Think Bronner's going to get the ball?
I'm telling you. All afternoon. And Bronner again as he corkscrews his way inside the 25.
Hey, Eddie, it's easy to see why they need to expand here at Alumni Stadium. Upper deck is packed on the far side. People all over the aisles. People standing outside the stadium.
Yeah, they got the fever now, don't they?
They really do.
It all started many years ago, but really was brought to a focal point when Doug Flutie was here. Turner and Bell, the running backs. Clock rolling under a minute. Marcus Cherry's in the game. That's Jimmy Bell. Oh, and he banged helmets right there at the line of scrimmage and got nothing out of it.
California has a difficult chore when you look at their schedule. This is the 3rd year in a row that they're having to play all 9 of the Pac-10 opponents, and it's a real scheduling oddity. They're the only team in the Pac-10 that's had to do that. This year, Washington State is going to do it, but for the last 3 years, they're the only one, and it's because back in 1978, when Arizona and Arizona State were added to the Pac-8 to make it the Pac-10, they'd already scheduled games against Arizona and Arizona State. And so they're having to live through that decision, and that does not make their schedule very easy. Likewise, for Boston College, I think, Eddie, they have overscheduled themselves.
Oh, they've got a tough,
I mean,
tough
you've
schedule.
got SMU and Maryland, Penn State, and it's, I just think your AD or whoever it is that's scheduling you has got to give yourself a couple of easier games. And Boston College doesn't quite yet have the machine that an OU, and they certainly haven't reached that height of an OU either, to be able to constantly go up against the kind of competition they've got scheduled.
(21-15) is the score. Boston College with 32 seconds, pitch back to Bell. And on a 3rd and 4.
Oh, why did he go out of bounds?
And that'll leave 26 seconds, but it'll give us time to remind you that we'll be on the air next week from Oklahoma State, and it'll be Houston. But we want to thank today the athletic directors from both schools, Bill Flynn of BC, Dave Maggard from California, the SIDs, Kevin Renault of California, Reed Oslin here at Boston College. Special thanks to our spotters, Joe Gomez and Kevin Brown, and our statistician, famous Jimmy Stamos. Also Rick Mello, the assistant SID. Off count. Clock, 26 seconds. And BC with a first down and 10 and a flag thrown, and now it gets a little nasty as tempers start to go haywire and the frustration sets in as you see the clock. All kinds of people. Dan Slavin was the man, number 41, that was involved in the problem there. And so Boston College with 9 seconds to go in the ball game and holding on to a 21-15 lead will be in a little bit better field position. And down they go to the 10-yard line.
Dead ball. Personal foul against the defense.
Ah, boy.
First down.
Unnecessary is what that was. And penalty situations start to build up. Cal is starting to pile up those penalties. 7 penalties for the Bears. And it's over. It's all over. A tough loss for the Cal Bears, who journeyed from the West Coast all the way to the East with what they thought was a powerhouse club to meet a team that last week was bitterly disappointed over a subpar offensive performance, the Boston College Eagles. And that man right there being given credit for a lot of guts. He made a big change, a big decision this week. Played without some key people, and he went with the sophomore quarterback, Mike Power. Power was injured, replaced by another sophomore, and that was Mark Camphouse. And those two kids bookended the Cal Bears and did a terrific job. And with some big mistakes by Cal, the Eagles took advantage and win one 21-15. Interesting ball game in our inaugural here in '86 on College Football 86 on USA. We'll return.
It's
for what it costs to be
the Army's most technical training.
Here they are now 1-1 after a very disappointing opening loss to Rutgers here last week. And when you look at the final totals of yardage and time of possession, BC really in control, Jack. They had the ball 37.5 minutes in this ball game, particularly dominating in the second half. And you can't say enough about the play of their offensive line.
Rest and relax to adventure.
Third point. The offensive line just took control of the line of scrimmage. They handled that Cal defense, came off the football. It was no secret how they did it. They were just very physical this afternoon and beat a good Cal defense.
We have Eric Lindstrom with us down on the field.
Nation. Show it, Golf World.
Get a Pro review from the Prudential and get a piece of the rock.
nice.
Whatever game.
Want to get on him and intimidate him, much like we didn't as much last week.
Eric, how much pressure was it on you being an end to contain Bedford, their great quarterback?
That guy is unbelievably an athlete and speed-wise. It was just tough getting out there and containing them, and especially with Hick.
It appeared, Eric, as if defensively you guys were together from the opening gun.
Yeah.
You had a plan devised, and it seemed to work for you just about all the time.
Well, our coaching staff wanted to get on the films, and we got on that all this week. And we were pretty much prepared for what they were ready to do, option or toss.
Let's take a look at a play that you were involved in, Eric. You had 6 tackles, 1 assist, 1 sack, and 1 fumble recovery. That's a great afternoon of football. And here's one of those defenders.
You bet he is happy, Eddie.
Are you that fast?
I don't know about that. I do a 4.6. He's a little bit faster than me, though.
Eric, it seemed like you just...
I'm really proud of this group because we struggled last week, but we never stopped playing. We just struggled, and they came out here today, and we went behind. The #1 quarterback's out hurt, and then we just came right back without Stratford and without Martin. That tells me an awful lot about these kids.
So many times a team has to do it with people at the skill positions, but it really seems like it's been the maturity of your offensive line and people like that on the defensive line that really kept the attitude of the team.
That's right. They're in the huddle, and they're keeping it going. I'm really proud of our defense. We can get the pass rush when we need it. The one play that reversed drove me crazy, but other than that, the defense played real well. So it's just a team victory, not one individual did it. It's just a team victory.
You have developed a reputation as outscoring opponents when you succeed. It looks like now you're beginning to rely a little bit more on that strength now that it's present in your ball club.
Well, I think we can play good defense, and that'll reflect itself in how we play offense a little bit too, but we want to be aggressive on both sides of the ball.
Let's talk about the other side of the ball for a moment, and that is the quarterback decision. Obviously, the question was, would Sean Halloran come back? You made the decision, tragically having to make it today. Tell us a little bit about your quarterback situation.
Well, you know, we had a serious problem with our #1 quarterback, Mike Power. I guess he broke his foot or came close. We're not really positive. That's the preliminary thing I get. So then do I go with Halloran? I do go with Camphouse. I decided to go with Camphouse. He played well all week, and I said all week that if I had to go to somebody, it wouldn't be Sean this week. That doesn't mean it won't be Sean in the future, but I went to Camphouse today.
Early on, between Power and Camphouse, you've got 2 highly recruited ball players, 2 great natural athletes. Power perhaps a little bit more flexible in attitude, a little bit more unpredictable. Camphouse more conservative. Do you think if they're both healthy, Power will continue to be your #1?
Yes, because he does the type of things we want to do. Not that I have, you know, I think we can do it with Camphouse too, but Power's got that spark that I'm looking for. Now, I noticed an awful lot of leadership from Camphouse, which I didn't know he had because I've never had him in a game. So maybe he's a guy too, but if Power's healthy, it'll be Power, but I don't think Power's healthy.
Well, about 5 years ago, you had to put a young quarterback in a game that you didn't really want to either, by the name of Doug Flutie, and he turned out all right for you.
That's right, and I had no idea how good he was.
Coach, thank you very much. Let me get Jimmy Bell in here as well. Jimmy, congratulations. 24 carries, as far as I can tell, about 95 yards. Last year, I don't know that you ran the ball that many times, not many more times anyway.
I ran the ball 48 times last season.
How does it feel as a sprinter, particularly a guy who's known for his speed, to be out there having to go against the Bruce brothers?
Well, it helps. You know, it helps avoid the collisions and stuff. But you know, that's not the whole part of the game is lowering the shoulder and getting in there.
Tell us about the attitude of the team with the quarterback situation. Obviously, you've got a lot of experience, particularly again in the lines. You've been around for a while. What do the quarterback changes do to this ball club?
Well, you know, we're going for every guy. We like every quarterback that plays in there. You know, we just got to go with who we got in there at the time, you know.
What did you feel about California was the element of their game that you respect the most after playing against them?
Their defensive backs came up and hit me a few times, I'll tell you that, that's for sure. They're tough, definitely tough players.
Got you strung out. You may have to get yourself in better shape if they're going to ask you to keep carrying the ball as much as they did today.
Yeah, yep, I have to suck it up.
Okay, Jimmy Bell, thanks for being with us. Eddie, back up to you.
Now here is a guy who just a little while ago was the third-team quarterback, and all of a sudden he has led Boston College.
The Cal Bears 15.
Mark Camphouse. And Mark, congratulations. I know you didn't like to see Mike go down as he did with that sprained foot, but it was a big chance for you, and you certainly came through.
Yeah, it felt good to be in there. I just feel like whenever I go in, I can get the job done.
This week in practice with Mike starting, did you get much play in practice to come in here in the fourth quarter when the game was on the line?
Well, I got pretty much play. I just went out with every practice like I'd be in the game. So I just played like I was going in the game no matter what was going to happen.
Mark, there's been a lot of pressure on Boston College quarterbacks ever since Doug Flutie left. And everybody is expected by the fans and the media to fill those rather large shoes. I know it's been a big problem that Sean has had a tough time dealing with. How have you and Mike felt about it, and has it been a topic of discussion between you?
I don't think it's not really a big problem. I just feel like our team, we use our whole team to win. We don't have to rely on one person. We just have everybody pull together and win.
So you think the focus on the quarterback is really unfair to a certain degree?
Well, there's always a focus on a quarterback, but I think there's a focus on the whole team,